Hey everybody, Keith Hilson with the Trombone Shop at Schmidt Music. We know that weight distribution in trombone building design can make a huge difference. This is certainly not new information. Makers have known about this for hundreds of years. Exactly where we place the weight, how we connect everything together, how the overall instrument rings and resonates can make a huge difference with how it responds for us, how cleanly things move together, how cleanly we can move between the partials, what kind of sound we get out of it. And so this is something that builders are constantly thinking about when they are designing and developing instruments. And there's a lot of it for us as players that we don't have a lot of control over. We can change out hand slide, we can change our belt configuration and everything there, but there's a certain point where we just don't have a lot of control. However, there is one area on particular instruments that we do have some control with this, and that is in the counterweight. Now, we know we see counterweights a lot in small bore tenors, obviously, because we're balancing out the weight, but we do see them in a few large bore tenor designs as well, notably in the Yamaha Xeno line here. So I've got a Yamaha 8820 yellow brass bell version here. So I am going to do a little bit of playing around with the counterweight placement here, because we've found in the shop, and we're not the first to have found this, we were told about this from a couple of other folks, and we found it to be true, that maybe dead center where the stock location for the counterweight may not actually be the best place for the counterweight to help bring out all of the great playing characteristics in this instrument. So we're going to do a little bit of playing around. I'm going to kind of take it to the extremes here. I'm going to play with it dead in the center. I'm going to play with it really off to one side. I'm going to play with it completely pulled off of the instrument entirely, and we're going to try to tweak it around and see if maybe we can find kind of the sweet spot for this counterweight placement. whenever I work with something like this, just something small like moving the counterweight, or like working with like the Getz and Edwards harmonic pillars, or any number of different ways, just little things we can change with the instrument, I am always amazed with how big of a difference I can feel and hear. So I'm not sure if it came through the recording. I can tell you from this end, I really felt and heard a difference in all 4 of those configurations. You know, of the 4, I felt like the dead center configuration may have been the stuffiest. You know, it responded well, but boy, I felt like I really had to push a lot of air to get things to resonate at all. With the counterweight all the way over on the bell end, I really liked the mass of the sound, but I did feel like I had to work harder to get things to respond initially, but it was really nice and stable. When the counterweight was all the way over on the Neckpipe end, I thought it was a little bit lighter sound, very, very responsive, a little bit brighter sound. You know, there was a real nice clarity to it. Stability sometimes was a little bit interesting. And for me, the interesting thing is that with the counterweight off, I really liked the sound overall, but I felt like it really took a while, regardless of what dynamic I was playing on. It took a while for every note to really sit in place, or to respond initially, and then even once I got them to play, sometimes they didn't really feel stable as well. So that tells us that, and again, every player is going to be different. What I typically find, for example, with the Yamahas, is that a little bit off-center seems to bring out kind of the best of all these characteristics. So typically, when I'm going through and tweaking them, I usually end up with them, say, anywhere from like an 1/8 to a 1/4 inch off of center, usually towards the bell. But, you know, playing around a little bit, I'm going to play around with this particular one a little bit more. There's certain things I feel like maybe a little bit towards the Neckpipe end actually may bring out the best playing characteristics of this particular instrument. So anyway, just an interesting little side note here. You know, if you've got instruments with counterweights, whether it's Yamaha or whether it's a small bore tenor, whatever, you know, certainly I would encourage you to, you know, maybe play around with those positions a little bit, because it's amazing what a difference it can make. So hopefully, as always, this was interesting, informative for you. If you enjoyed it, think about giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, think about subscribing to our channel. We'll keep trying to do fun stuff like this, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as always. So thanks for watching, everybody.